So anybody that's a co-host, you might have a little pop-up thingy, mabobber, and so you just have to hit okay, agree. So we are going to start with our fearless leader. Take it away, Jan.
Well, I don't have any other special announcements other than, and I think Grace is on now. She's going to talk about the retreat. So just encourage you again, the retreat is a lot of fun. And you can see by the background maybe that I'm not in my usual spot. I'm actually in Sedona on vacation.
Yay!
Hey,
Love
so
Sedona.
it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yep.
Right on,
My
right
parents
on.
went there every weekend when I was a kid to go out, and they always left me in the car to sleep in the back seat.
No.
Okay,
Alrighty.
and then Grace maybe if she's there.
Grace, I just spotlighted you for everyone. So can you give us a little thing on the retreat update?
We have 19 people signed up so far. Hopefully people
Yay.
get their registrations in because Ryan wants the information by next Wednesday. So get your registrations in. Rita is doing a class on Thursday and also on Friday, and that's on our retreat page. Saturday is I have a couple traces and I'm in contact with people. I'm not sure what we'll be doing on Saturday yet, but I'll put that on the page also. You guys have any questions for me that maybe I can answer? No?
And
hope
we'll
it
get those.
fills up.
Yeah, I mean, in the fall, we were packed. So I'm hoping a lot more people will be signing up because it's a lot more fun when there's more people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So
that's where
send in your thing and join the party.
And you do not need to be a member. You can come.
no.
You can come whether you're a member or not.
Right, so
So-
you can bring a friend who's a non-member, and
But
then by
sign
the
up.
end of it, they'll want to become a member, I'm sure.
Indeed.
Maybe people are
so
scared of a
energized
snowstorm.
with ideas.
Yeah. Super duper. All right. So, any other announcement before I tell you about our itinerary? There, Marlene. Okay, let me get you spotlighted.
People should start thinking about the state fair. And I haven't got confirmed yet for sure, but I did ask for the display case again. So people should start making some projects to display at the fair. I will start accepting them as soon as I know for sure that we have the case, but I'm pretty sure we'll get it. We usually do. So
And have we come up with a theme yet for this
No.
next year?
not yet, but we got time.
If anybody has any ideas on a theme, send it to Marlene. And we will get working on that one.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
And if you want to enter the fair, we are also sponsoring the two senior classes of beadwork this year and adding premiums to what the state fair pays out. And one is a necklace and one is just, I think, miscellaneous beadwork. So, and it's in the senior division. So if you don't want to enter the tough open competition, the senior is open for people that's over 65, I think. So not that any of us are over 65, but
That was funny.
I was gonna say the senior division is the tough division because you've been beaten for so long. I mean, you all are experts.
well,
So
it's been sometimes sparse, but get more people in it.
Mhm.
yeah, we're super excited.
So the fair will be in August. I don't know for sure the dates. I didn't look, but start thinking about it and start making some beadwork.
There you go. There
I
you
want
go.
to go.
And our case is separate from the contest part of
Great.
it for
Yeah.
creative arts. Our case is just to show off your beautiful work.
Yes.
And like I said, come up with a theme for us. Last week we had, or last year was connecting people, or beads connect us together. That was it.
Yeah.
And
And it sounds like where we demonstrate, they are redoing that area and upgrading it, so we'll see if that is true when we get there, I guess, or so, but
and we
hopefully it'll
bought
be,
a new banner, right, to go behind us?
yes, and we're gonna have a new banner. So, hopefully. So, it's coming.
There you go.
Daylight savings times ends next weekend already, so
Yeah.
summer's coming.
We're excited for it. We really are. Any other announcements? Okay, Doris, hold let me spotlight you. There you go.
Okay, this is your last last chance if you want to come with me on this Czech trip. We have I leave on the week after Easter and we'll be back home on May 10th. We spend 4 days in Prague doing touristy steps and 8 days up in the factories, up in the mountains. So there's still some room if anybody else wants to come.
It's just gonna be so cool to see all them beads in person.
Yeah.
How they're made. So super duper, and everybody knows how to get a hold of Doris. So, but if you want to put it in the chat, you are more than welcome to, Doris, so that people have it more right in front of them as an
I
easy
will.
link click. And also about the bead retreat, there's a retreat page on the website. So go to our website for all sorts of information.
And you put chat information out there for Betty as well.
I
Contact.
did.
Yeah.
It is all in the chat here. We are so excited. So you could easily click to see Betty's shop. She is giving our Bead Society a coupon that you can use for her shop to save money as well. And I put the link to that coupon in our chat here. And then I will also, so Jan might want to copy that down and we'll send it as a separate email to our members as well. So if they could come to the meeting.
I just want to say, I'm leaving tomorrow and I'll be gone until I think the 13th. So you can still order in the shop, but I won't be mailing it until that time. So just so you know that if you order a kit, it won't be coming immediately. And I have a notification in the shop that tells you that too. So also it might look like things are sold out if somebody buys it and I haven't renewed it. So then check again after the 13th. The coupon, do you remember, Rochelle, what I said, the coupon goes until what date?
That's where we were thinking it would be like, you know, a week or two after you got home. So it was like a little, you know, a couple weeks, you know.
Yeah, it's a couple weeks anyhow. It's like a week after I get home, so I can figure that out and let you know.
I'm glad everybody's going on vacations. Oh my gosh. You know, it brings spring feelings to everybody. And so
My
before,
vacation is a bead retreat.
yeah, so the bead retreat is the 18th, right, Grace? Or what dates?
It's in 2
19th
weeks on Wednesday. I don't have my calendar right here.
19th through the 23rd.
19th through the 23rd. But before that, we have our Let's Be Live. That's this Saturday, and it's our first in-person at the Edina Senior Center. We have Natalia and Kayla of Let's Be the Vibes. You might remember them from the Mall of America Lotus Beads. They're wonderful ladies and amazing wire wrappers. So they're going to be creating the Tree of Life pendants. And so this will be in person. They will have kits there as well. So you can get supplies there. People, if you have extra tools like wire straighteners or cutters, or the hammer and the benchy block things to hammer, like the nylon hammer, or we don't need the metal hammers, but if you hammer your stuff, your wire, your frames and everything, it'll work out much better. So if you have any extra tools to bring to the party, that would be the one thing that you know, you might want to bring. besides a few supplies. And that supply list is all on our umbs.org calendar page. And we're so excited for Tree of Life wire pendants. And in order to get more people to come to our first in-person Saturday meeting, we are going to have our first giveaway. UMBS has purchased for giveaway the Toho 2025 Sonoran Sunset Challenge Kits. It's a whole new year of the Toho Challenge, and we're so excited. This year's inspiration is by the beautiful sunsets and landscapes of the Sonoran Desert. The colors and energy of the copper-infused Sonoran sunset rocks bring peace and serenity, boost inner strength and vitality by promoting well-being and aligning our chakras, grounding, strengthening, and balancing our body, mind, and emotions. These rocks manifest creative energy, inspiring innovation and artistic expression and communicating love. We hope the Sonoran Sunset Stone inspires you to manifest your creative dreams. And so all these colors are the same colors, as the Sonoran Sunset Stone, which only comes from the Sonoran Sunset. Sonoran Desert. And if you watched the new series called Americas by Tom Hanks, it's in the second episode. The whole first 10 minutes is actually designated for the Sonoran Desert, and he calls it the most unhospitable place on earth. I think it's beautiful, and the rocks there are beautiful. They're all infused by copper. So we're giving away a kit to somebody who goes to the meeting on Saturday. You can join us virtually through Zoom or on Facebook or in person, and we'll be drawing a winner and giving away our first kit. But you have to go to the meeting to be entered to win the drawing.
And we
And
will
that-
mail it. We will mail it out, right? If
we will if you're virtually, but you at least have to come, whether you're on Facebook or Zoom or in person. So come to the meeting. It doesn't count just by watching it later on Zoom. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
And if you want to buy one of the kits, mine will arrive tomorrow, so I'll have them at retreat.
There you
Great.
go. And then Hannah will also be having a few for sale. She doesn't, I don't think, have anywhere near as many as Doris, but she'll be having a few, and then her sale is Wednesday night at 6 p.m. on Hannah's Facebook page. And I will be there too. And so then we also have coming up, like we said, our fabulous lawyer, who's going to tell us everything. His name is Wayne Finnegar or Feinger. I'm sorry, Hannah.
Vinegar.
Okay, the second.
Yes.
He's attorney at law, and he's going to discuss the issues surrounding estates and focusing on crafts, art supplies, copyright issues, all sorts of things. What do I do with all this stuff? Who do I donate it to? Are there repercussions? How do I evaluate it? All kinds of questions. And this is an extra special meeting that we're having before tax day. And so that is going to be on April 3rd at 7 p.m. And that's Zooming also.
On a Thursday?
Yes, it's
Are
gonna
we
be.
Zooming or just doing Facebook?
We're Zooming, so you could either be Zooming with us or you can watch it on Facebook. And we have a number of questions already. And then once we're done with those questions, and if you have any questions while we basically interview him, you can write that in the chat, either the Facebook chat or the Zoom chat. You can either come Zoom or Facebook, and you can write that in at the end. We may have time to take some questions.
Did you guys
April
put out a
3rd is
Zoom
a
link yet?
Thursday.
Yes,
That's
April
always the
3rd
way.
is a Thursday. It is a special,
Okay.
it is a special meeting. It is an extra that, think of it as sort of an extra Let's Bead Live, except we're not beading. So
The special event.
it's a special event. It's a special event about beads, but not actually beading. Absolutely.
Right.
But that's going to be our April meeting, so there won't be a
No.
meeting in
No.
Monday the
No,
7th.
that's just a different meeting.
It's an
And we're
add-on.
still having
Ah.
an April meeting, yes.
Yes, we are
Okay.
having an April meeting and do you want to talk about that now?
We absolutely can because we're so excited for it. Wait a minute, did you send it to me?
I haven't, and I need to get that up, so I will.
Okay, so then you do it because I was gonna say I apologize.
That's okay. So our April meeting will be on April 7th, which is a Monday. So not to be confused with our special event. So Monday night, April 7th, we are meeting and Jen Segrist will be our speaker, and she will tell us about medieval and Renaissance bead embroidery. She's going to talk about it on interiors. She's going to talk about it on clothing, and probably go into quite a bit about religious garb as well. So it's really about the history of bead embroidery in medieval and Renaissance times.
Great.
Oh my gosh, it's just so exciting. I'm really excited for all the fun things that we've got going on. And so the Saturdays are free, so invite your friends to come along, and this is a way to get them their foot in the door to the membership, and then meet a whole bunch of cool people, see how much fun it is, so that way they all want to join us too. And so tonight we are so excited to have Betty Stephan with us. She has been beading for decades and decades. She's taught everywhere from New York to France for large retreats as well as small classes all around the world, beads and button shows, bead dreams, bead star, battle of the beadsmiths. You know, she's published books and designs and instructions. Oh my gosh. I mean,
And you
and
did
so
a Toho challenge too, didn't you?
a couple
Yeah,
of them.
so in short, I'm old.
I love that you do
Join
this,
the club.
but you do this all from your beaded dungeon, your cozy dungeon. Look at that dungeon behind you. I mean, I'm so darn excited to, see and hear all more about this
Ken?
close up. Look
And,
at that behind you. This is your studio. Isn't it beautiful?
and just a reminder to everybody else, if you'd mute so we don't catch any extra noises until there's a Q&A.
Yep, and then if you have questions, put them in the chat, and then we will ask them at appropriate times, and then at the end we'll open it up to a mass Q&A. And so we will so thank you so much, and take it away, Betty. It's all
I know everybody has told me that you're such a nice group, so I know that you're going to be patient with me when I screw this up, but we'll give it a try anyhow. All right. So I assume you see that part now? Is that true?
we don't see your shared screen yet. No.
You don't? Let me try again.
Go to the bottom there where it says, there it
There
is.
you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So when I was asked to do a presentation about about something, I had to figure out what to do. And I decided that I would do it on beaded collars. And when I got to looking at it, I realized that I had made over 100 beaded collars, which surprised even me. I didn't realize that. Or big necklaces. I'm not sure what the differentiation is between collars and big necklaces, but whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some examples of some of the collars that I've made. And then I'm going to show you some process photos, and we'll talk about how they're made. They're really just a lot of little necklaces that are put together. And then also there'll be pictures of people. I used to do a lot of art shows, and so I'm going to have pictures of people trying them on. So these aren't models that are all set up in beautiful pictures. They'll just be pictures of people trying them on at shows. And we'll first, I'm going to talk about a little background and then we'll kind of get into the rest of that. So, I grew up on a farm in Western New York, in fact, like a half a mile from where I live now. And I had four sisters. My mom was a seamstress and she taught all of us to do crafts. You can see I'm the one with the beaded collar on. We have very cold winters, as you guys are used to, being where you live. This was in 2015 when we had 8 feet of snow in 2 days. So it's a good time to sit inside and bead. So how did I get started? In 2004, I went to the Crow Fair out in Montana, and it's held at Little Bighorn. And everything had beadwork on it. You could see the beaded work on the horses, and the cars had beadwork. Um, oh, I'm sorry, I just went past that. So the little kids had all beadwork, and the older people had beadwork, and it was just beautiful. So I got really inspired by that, and there were vendors there that sold seed beads, and I bought some. And then later we went to the Plains Indian Museum in Cody, Wyoming, and saw more beadwork. I bought a book, and that is how it all started. The rest is history. So this is the first collar that I ever made. And I sold it for $100. And I thought, oh man, I got it made. I made this necklace and I got $100 for it. Things have progressed a little since then, but this is another one of my earlier ones. And so this is like one of the people that was at the show, and it shows her wearing it. And you'll see with this, as different people are trying them on, they look entirely different on different people. So I used to have a customer and she would provide me with different stones and different components. And she'd say, can you make a necklace with this in it? Well, she provided these two big stone dragons for this one. And that's what I made out of it. That was 2008. Whoops, I did it again. Same customer, this beautiful big stone she provided me with. And then this is a bathroom tile. So you can use a lot of different things in your beadwork. Don't feel like you have to be limited to regular cabochons. These are just two collars that I made. This one is called Summer Vacation because we used to travel in our camper a lot. And when we were on vacation, we stopped at a rock shop and I bought all these rocks. Those aren't cabochons, they're just tumbled rocks. And so while I was on vacation, I made this necklace, and each one of those rocks were bezeled in a different way. It's kind of hard to see on this picture, but then for a while I got into butterflies and butterfly wings. And so I would put these butterfly wings under glass cabochons, and then of course do the beadwork with it too. And this was another one with the butterfly wing under it. Here is a peacock feather that I put under glass, and you can see that the peacock feathers are also up here, and then reflected it into the fringe. I'll never do that again. It was really a pain trying to do that. Oh, and I also like to tell when they're rejects for contest. Because I think people know, that sometimes they see, oh yeah, you got accepted here or there. Well, it isn't all like that. You get rejected a lot too. So this was a Bead Dreams reject. Now these are real butterfly wings that I actually put through a laminator and then I beaded around. So this collar is like super lightweight. And here's two people at shows trying it on. And so you can see there how it looks so different on two different people. So, those glass stones that you put in with candles and stuff, and you can get them at the dollar store? That's what these are. And let me tell you that this was way too much fringe. It got tangled up in everything as I was working on it, but I liked the way it looked when it was done. I will say that this ended up being really heavy because of all the fringe and then also the glass in it. And there's a lady that tried it on there to show. Okay, so this is shibori, and you can see how I did netting over the shibori for
Love
the
it.
neck chain. Now this also, it's a little hard to tell in this picture, but I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension. So this triangular piece kind of is cupped up, and then this part comes under it. So it gave it a little bit of dimension. It's fun to just experiment with different things. This was called Starry Night, and I quite often put old like broken pieces of jewelry in it. This was an old pin, and then this moon was part of a wind chime. It was an agate, part of a wind chime. So again, you can use lots of different things in your beadwork. This was on the cover of this beaded jewelry book. This is called Cathedral Windows, and I have kind of a sad story to tell you about this one. I made this, and the picture is great. I love the picture. But see these two pieces here? It looks great in the picture, but when it was worn, those pieces fall right on your collarbones. So I got really brave one day and I tore it apart. Because I wanted to remove those pieces. And it did work. I was happy with it afterwards. Here is a picture of a woman trying it on. This was my daughter-in-law, and see how those pieces sat on her collarbones? I didn't like that, so I removed them, put them like this. And even though I'm not really crazy about how that looks in that picture, but it laid a lot better after I did that. But I had to be brave to do it. This one is called Rusted Root. Um, I had this at a show, and a woman came and she said, I really like this, but I don't like the fringe. Would it cost less if you removed the fringe? I said, no, lady. This is polymer clay, and then I put like a Rivoli and some metal components on top of the polymer clay. This one's called Flower Power, and I have to say, that's my favorite name of a necklace, because these are power shells. This is called Serena's Puzzle. This is about the only time I ever drew out a piece, a, collar, because I had to have all these pieces fit together. But when I drew it out and cut all the pieces out, I forgot that I would be edging it, and that would add to the size of it. So it was all screwed up, and it didn't help that I drew it out in the first place. And this is a girl at a show. When you guys go to a craft show, you always dress like this, right? This was called Everything Old is New Again. And it incorporates fossils and stones and horn. There's like a lot of different components in there. This was called Abundance. And again, this was an old pin. This is a cool druzy stone. And there's two different people, again, trying it on, looking different. It's so weird talking to you guys because I can't tell what's happening on the other end there. All right, so this is all, it's a good combination of bead weaving and bead embroidery. So this whole part, of course, is bead woven. It's just netted. And then this is bead embroidery and sewn on top. This was for the Battle of the Beadsmith, and I'll show you some things about how this is made. If you look at it, there's a lot of different, there were little check buttons, and I'll show you in the next one. So here are all the little check buttons. That's how it all started. I decided to use those all. And when I design something, I usually don't really have an idea what I'm doing. It just kind of progresses and it's a mess. I drag everything out, and you'll see later what a mess it is. But this is how I originally intended it to look, which it sort of turned out that way. And so I wanted to embroider a collar for it. So I used lace collar as a base, and you'll see I do this quite often, use a lace for the base. This is how it turned out, and there you can kind of see with the back what it looks like. This was the lace collar that I beaded on. And then these are all the different buttons. And then this is a little bit of a close-up of this is this part right here. So there's a bunch of different people trying it on. You guys might know Amy Blevins there. This was again a customer who gave me some pieces and she wanted it incorporated. These two dragons were actually earrings, and the dragon goes in the back, it goes through your ear, and then this tail comes out the front. Well, the only problem was one of those tails was missing. And so I actually ended up taking polymer clay and making another tail for it. And this was a really heavy crystal, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but it actually turned out good. So you can see here that crystal. And this kind of points out that, like these dragons, I never like to just glue something to a collar. I always like to attach it in some way. So you can think about that in different ways. Like here, I put kind of a collar on him and attach the tails. So you can just make sure that you have some way that if it came unglued, it wouldn't, fall right off. So this is a necklace a friend of mine gave me a bunch of polymer clay pieces that she made. And this woman came to the show and she had on this beautiful dress and hat and she tried it on and it looked beautiful, but I hated it with that lavender. So I went into Photoshop and changed it to green and then it looked good with the necklace. This was a collar that a friend of mine had these two earrings that were her grandmother's. And she wanted a necklace made with those earrings in it. So this was what the necklace turned out to be. And this is her wearing it. This I made a long time ago. And again, and I'll show you in a minute how the progress of this, but this was on a lace collar also. And these were made, well, no, I'll tell you in a minute about that. This was for a Fire Mountain Gems contest. And you had to use beads that they sold, right? They didn't sell any gray ones that worked for me. So I had to use delicas in there. What a pain that was, sewing all those delicas, all that gray there, all those delicas in there. But here's the collar, and you can see how that progressed. So these parts right here, they're a little bit 3D. I took bigger beads and made a row of beads, and then I beaded over them with size 50 or size 11 beads. So you can kind of see how that has a little bit of dimension to it. So here you can see the back. So you can see how many stitches were in it. And this is more of a close-up of those, I don't know what you want to call it, those white ones. And there's the back after it's finished. So again, here's some more close-ups and you can see that a little better there. And there's the clasp and you can see where it hooked onto both sides. This is, I guess I included this because I wanted to show you that when you make a fringe, it doesn't necessarily have to be shaped in a V. You can have it in different shapes. This piece right here with the little fairy in it, the fairy was an old pin. And then these are all pieces of labradorite in it. And there's two girls, again, it shows. So this is quite often, as I told you with the other piece where I had to tear it apart, that isn't unusual for me. So I made this piece and lived with it for quite a while, but I didn't really like it. And so then I finally decided that if I added a little bit of fringe that I might like it better. And I did. I liked it a whole lot better after I added the fringe, but it took me a while to get to that place. And here's the little girl trying it on. Look at her grandma in the back. I think that's the cutest picture. She was so proud of the little girl. So here we have a double fringe. So just a regular fringe in the back and then netting over the top. This is called Autumn Blaze, and these are polymer clay pieces. And then there's a bunch of shibori that runs through it. And here's two people trying it on. Some of you might know Cynthia. This was a piece I made with a metal collar piece, so that's rigid. And I didn't do that very often, but I did for this one. It seemed like everybody liked trying it on, and everybody seemed to look good in it. This was a piece, these were old earrings, these two pieces right here, and then a heart-shaped stone. And I tried to bring the color from the surround here down into the fringe, and then also up here. This again is polymer clay. And there's two girls trying it on. Here again is a fringe with netting over the top. And these were all actually big metal beads that were like soldered together. And so I split them apart so they were flat on the back and used those. This I put macrame in there. So you can try a lot of different things. You can add a lot of different things to your beadwork. That's what's fun about bead embroidery. These were 3 glass pieces that I bought one year at Bead and Button. Self-explanatory. So here's another one where I said, I don't know. So this was a lace collar. And pay attention to this because later you're going to see this again. But I made this and I was never happy about it. So then I kind of rearranged it and I added some fringe and then I shortened it up so it's only about up to there and then added these to the end and I liked it a little better. This was a piece that it was heavy because of all this bottom part and I needed to put a collar on it, but I didn't want to add any weight. So these are wooden beads, so they didn't weigh very much at all. So it was supporting it well enough, but it didn't add a lot of weight to it. And this is another example of it. It was getting pretty heavy because these are all stone, that's all stone. But yet I wanted to add a fringe, but I didn't want it to be real heavy. So I used cup chain and then a little bit of stone, but not a lot. And so it didn't add a whole lot of weight to it. That's polymer clay. This young lady would come to my show every year and her and her sister would always dress up so they could pose for me with a necklace on. You'll be seeing more of them. Again, this is one that I made with a collar base and I didn't like it. And then all I did was added this on the bottom, and then I shortened this up. And this now is actually a kit. It's called Guinevere. So I do sell that kit, but it came from this. I do like this much better, actually. Here's another example. I made this, and I really liked these. I guess they were buttons of some sort, and I really liked them. But I was never crazy about how it looked with those hanging there. So again, I took them off and ended up with this. And you can see how that kind of transpired. I tried all different things and different dangles on the bottom and just couldn't get it to where I liked it. And there's a girl wearing it after that was the final on it. This woman just happened to wear something that the clothes look so good with the necklace. So here's an example. I used to do special orders. This is the last special order I did because people always said, oh, whatever you make, I love it. No. So I made this, she didn't love it. But I didn't want to keep remaking it over and over and over again. So what I did was, and you can see it's not done very well, but I took it into Photoshop and I arranged it in different ways. And then I gave her a choice of what she wanted, and she actually chose this. And I have to admit, I do like it better than that one. This is also a kind of sad story. I had this at a show and I dropped the whole box of jewelry onto the pavement. This stone right here cracked all the way down. And it didn't crack enough that it was going to fall out or anything, but it was an obvious crack. So what I did was I beaded a branch up over the crack, and then you couldn't see it anymore. This one was, it's just a bunch of different stones that were embroidered on. So this is layers and layers of felt, and they are formed into like this cone shape. And then this kind of is reverse of that. And you'll see this technique in a bunch of stuff as we're going through. So here's another one that's the same thing, the layers of felt. And then this has soutache. And then this is gold work in here. And here you can see the back of that, which actually shows this soutache a little better. And here I am trying to figure out how I want to lay it out. So this one, this is right angle weave, and you'll see it better in the next picture, I think. But I wove that separately and then attached it to the backing. So yeah, so you can see how that's attached to the backing. And then this is self-supporting. There isn't wire in there or anything. The next one. Oh, so my daughter-in-law liked that necklace. Oops, there she is. Oh, geez, wait a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. She liked the necklace, so I made her one a little bit different. Doesn't have the arms on it down here. Has a different focal. And then this is her wearing it. This has these glass flowers in it and soutache, not soutache. It'll come to me. So this is your Toho thing where for a while they sold the glow in the dark beads, and for bead and button everybody was supposed to make something and wear it to the party. So this is what I made, and this shows it in regular lighting, and this was when it had been charged up, but it wasn't any lights, and this was under a black light. And this is two girls modeling it. I love this little girl with her sneakers. The little kids loved to try that thing on when I told them it glowed in the dark. A little bit different here. Sometimes I'll make an extension because when I'm selling these at shows, you don't know how it's going to look on different people. So a lot of times I would make it so you could extend it a little bit. Those two girls again modeling for me. So this is Forevermore, and I made this for 2013 Battle of Beadsmith. These pieces here are right angle weave where I put wire inside of that. Now I'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But this was the hard, I mean, I loved making all the pieces. I hated putting it together. It's like a real engineering feat, I'll tell you, to make it lay right. So here you can see I made all these pieces. That's the part I liked, just making a bazillion pieces. But then down here you can see this is where I was trying to figure out how I wanted to make those connecting pieces. I really didn't want to put wire in it, but I couldn't figure out a way to do it that it would really hold and that it wouldn't look too clunky. So I decided to just do the right angle weave and stick the wire into it. And then here you can see where I'm just kind of arranging it on the dress form to see how it's going to look. And this is it's finished, and you can see those pieces, those right angle weave pieces. Here's the back, so you can see where it's a combination of bead and bead. And this is actually my next door neighbor. And so here are different people trying it on. I'm sure you guys recognize Kinga. This is actually the lady that bought it down here. Then these are leftover pieces, stuff that didn't make it into the necklace. I made other things out of it. Then I decided, well, I'm going to make another one of those in a different color. It'll be easy because I already figured it out how to do it. No, it wasn't. Everything seemed like it was kind of different, and it was just as difficult trying to do the second one. But that's it. Different people trying it on. And then I decided, why don't I do another one? So I did, and there it is. There's another piece that I made. This was called Nature's Gifts. I tried to incorporate all different kinds of nature. So you have animals, you have sea fossils, you have seeds and feathers and trees, just all different things in it. You can see here a little bit of a close-up for that. So here's me trying to figure it out. So again, laying it out different ways, trying to figure out, and here I'm going to say that if you lay it out on a flat surface and you think it looks a certain way, when you put it on a dress form, it's entirely different. So, I mean, it really is necessary to have something that you can put it on so you can see what it's going to look like worn. Otherwise, it's like so hard to, I guess just to gauge the size and stuff and how it's going to lay too, of course. It was quite heavy, actually, but they're not uncomfortable because it wraps around kind of. It isn't like it's all hanging on the front. And there you go. That's my favorite picture. This was for a show in California. They did that picture. This is another one where I used those conical shapes with the layers of felt. And here again is me trying to figure out how I want to do it. And then this one is a little different as I did the collar that way too, where again, it's a little hard to see that it's dimensional, but this again was layers and layers of felt. Okay, so remember I said, keep in mind about that lace collar. That was what was going to be the base of this. And as you'll see, that didn't turn out to be the case. So this is the collar. That's the one that we were talking about before, which I had thought I was going to use as the base for it. But then I decided it was just too much gold. So I decided to use it as a pattern, but not to use the collar. So then I just used this gold thread to do the pattern, but I didn't use the collar. So then here I am again, all the pieces, making all the pieces. And then this is what my beadboard looked like when I was done, just so you can see what a slob I am when I'm beading. And here I am trying to figure out, do I want to add these leaves? Do I want to add chain to it? It's all just a trial and error. This is the clasp, and I loved this clasp. What I did was I made this piece and then cut a slit in it. I put some wire around here to give it some support. Then this little piece fit in there, and when it was closed, you couldn't tell that it was a clasp. There's that same girl trying it on. Okay, so this was in 2011 when I was first starting out. This girl from Australia emailed me, and she was getting married in February. This was in November, okay? She was getting married in February. She said, I want a necklace kind of like this. Could you do it? And of course I said, sure. I would never ever do that now, but that's what I did then. So she sent me all this. She kind of had an idea of what she wanted, sent me some drawings. So I went about buying things. She wanted a bunch of turquoise in it. So I thought, well, I'll just buy a whole bunch of stuff and then I'll get her okay on it. What she doesn't want, I'll return. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I've ever returned beads. So I still have most of these at home. But we just kept on buying them. And then these were what I thought she might like as focals. So I took different pictures and she decided, no, none of those were exactly what she had in mind. So meanwhile, she decided that she wanted a Laura Mears owl, which is, it was like 2 inches tall. So it wasn't going to be very big for this big necklace. And I was a little worried about that, but I went ahead and ordered that. You got to realize I didn't have a whole lot of time, so I had to order them. And I didn't have a dress form, so I went ahead and ordered that also. And while I was waiting for those to come, I made a bunch of different components. Like I thought these kind of might have been what she was looking for, but no, she said none of those were going to work out. So here I am. I took a picture of the little owl so I could kind of get an idea of what it was. I pinned some of these up on the dress form when I got it. And you got to realize that it was like a 16-hour difference. So it was a whole different day in Australia. So whenever I sent her pictures, it would like take 2 days before we actually could okay them and give back to each other. So it really was a long process. She sent me these pictures and she said, this is more what I had in mind. And I was like, this wasn't at all what I thought you were thinking of. So this is what I came up with, one of the small side pieces. And then here are the different drops to see which one she would like. And here I am putting them all on and sending her pictures to see which one she liked the best. And then I got the owl and I put this big piece of turquoise with it and made it bigger, so that made a good centerpiece. And what happened was, well, those of you that know about dress forms, they have no shoulders. So I ended up rolling up some batting and making shoulders because I really needed to have shoulders for this piece. So here I am, it's coming together a little bit. And again, here's the mess that I made and continued for months. And here it is trying to decide which drops she would prefer, and kind of the arrangement of it. And there I am trying to make the shoulders. And here is I'm working on it. During this time, we had a Zoom call, and even though she had sent me her measurements, I really didn't know what she looked like or anything. So we met on the Zoom call, and the first thing I said was, "Oh, it's so good to see your chest." I made a real good first impression. So I decided I needed to have a collar that would be really pretty substantial. So I decided to use these wooden pieces. And my only problem was it needed to, they only had 2 holes in them. So I needed more holes in order to connect them. They were hollow. And so I ended up just drilling holes. And I made this as the collar, which was pretty substantial and was able to support the rest of it. And here you can see where that's on there. Again, trying to figure out, do we want these big clunky ones? Do we want these? How do we want to do it? Go in there. So one of the problems that I had was supporting the shoulders. And I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it. This is what I ended up doing, putting these. So this went around here and then the shoulders came down. So I had a friend who came down and she was about the same size as the bride. And when she tried this on, you can see how this came down like that. This front part just pulled down. And when she lifted her arms, it was even worse. So I had to figure out something that would hold that. So I decided to put this across the back, but then you run into the problem of how do you get it on and off, right? So I had to put a hook on each end so that she could take it on and off. But, and this is what it ended up looking like. There's the clasp. But I wasn't sure that that was going to work for her. So what I did was I made another shorter one. And I made this little dangly thing so you could either put it on this or this, and she could wear it with just that or both of them. I don't know what she ended up doing. So here's the back of it. Here's what I ended up with the side. There's the whole piece when it was done, when I was getting ready to ship it. It's a whole long story about how it got caught up in customs, and I didn't know if it was going to make it in time, but it did. And so there's the whole piece. Now, I never got a picture of it on the bride. She promised me she would send it to me. And she sent me one which was across like the lawn, so you couldn't really see it. She said she was very happy with it, but I never got a really good picture of it. So these are leftover pieces from that big piece. And here's a picture of all the leftovers. Well, here's another leftover. Now this is the 2016, Rochelle. 2016, we were trying to figure out what year it would have been.
Wow, yeah, trying to figure it out. That's fabulous.
2019. So this was a Toho challenge, and you can see how this again was on a lace collar, and then in the back of it, I put different color ultra suede. So I had the reddish colored coming down the center here, and then the darker color here and the reddish there. And you can see the flowers were woven and dimensional. And then there it is on the girl. I don't know, this seems to be a little out of order, but in 2020, as you well know, anyhow, I made a piece. I made actually 2 pieces for Bead Dreams for the 2020 Bead Dreams. And since it was canceled, of course, it never came to be, but I still have the pieces. But here is me experimenting with all different sort of things. I wanted to use metal filigree and then keep it open so you could kind of see through it. So I tried different things, tried different colors. There I am with all the different stuff, trying to figure it out. This was an experiment for the collar part of it. So, here's what I ended up doing for the collar and then hanging these from it. And here I am starting out, trying to figure out what I want to do with it. A few more different ways I might have done it. Added more. And that's the finished piece. So you can see I did use quite a few of those, but it changed quite a bit. And there it is on the model, not on the model, but on the mannequin. And there's the clasp, and you can see where it was just a ring and then the two bars.
Beautiful.
And you can see a few of the different components to it. So this was the other piece I made for the 2020 bead dreams that didn't happen. So this again is layers and layers of felt. And I wanted it to look like stained glass windows, and I wanted each one to be a little bit different. So these are all different. And then I was experimenting with different things to put in between, like if I wanted S's or how I wanted to do it. So this is how it turned out. It's called Cathedral Windows. So this is, then this became a class. So of course I wasn't going to teach that whole thing. So I took part of it and made a necklace, and so that is now a class. And again, here's another one that turned into a class. A friend of mine made this polymer clay piece, and I made this necklace, and I liked it so much, but I knew I wouldn't be able to get that piece to teach it or to make a kit out of it. So this is what it turned into. And so that is now a kit called Friendship Blooms. So this is a piece that, again, I made on a lace collar. And you can see where these flowers are kind of dimensional. They, again, are layers and layers of felt. And this is my mom when I think she was 100 at this point. So that was her modeling it for me. So that's it. If anybody has questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Let me see if I can get out of this sharing thing. Stop share. There we go. If anybody's still awake, we'll see if
Oh
anybody.
my God, we
Oh,
were
man.
mesmerized by, oh man.
We have
There were lots of oohs
nice
and ahs and wows.
Stunning, stunning, stunning display of beautiful beadwork.
Thank you.
We have lots of nice questions and comments. Marcia says that she particularly thinks that Autumn Blaze is freaking gorgeous, and she likes the fact that your process is really organic and that the results hang together nicely. She finds it really amazing.
Organic
She
is such a nice
likes
way to
the,
put it.
what's that?
Organic is such a nice way to put it. It's really a mess.
I don't know about that.
Organic.
But I appreciate the organic.
So she says she loves the dimensionality that you do with the felt layers. And Debbie B would like to know if you have any specific training in embroidery and gold work.
No, no, but my mom, like I said, was a seamstress. And so she taught all of us kids to sew and embroidery and do all that stuff when we were young. I have 4 sisters. We were 4 of us. And so I guess that was kind of a basis for that, but I really don't have formal training in it.
Marcia says that she thinks that you were really patient with your Australian client.
Well, I would never do it now. Let me tell you, I should never have done it.
I might have killed her.
Well, there were moments. There was a lot more to it than what I actually told with that. It got caught up in customs, and then she decided to go to a yoga retreat like 2 days before her wedding, and the necklace wasn't there yet. It was just it was
Oh my
terrible,
gosh.
but it worked out okay.
Well, that's
Well,
good.
look at it that way. It was a learning experience, so you knew that you didn't want to ever do it again.
Yes, absolutely.
Saved you some,
Yeah.
some
Yes,
future
that's
heartbreak.
absolutely true.
Joanne says that everything is absolutely beautiful. And Jamie says, awesome. You have a really beautiful, unique style. And Becky says spectacular. She has lots of new ideas now. So you gave us lots of inspiration. And she wants
Well, I'm
to thank you.
expecting everybody to enter a big collar into the state fair now.
That's right. Some of them, like Marsha, win.
And then we can't do it again.
Anybody else have any questions or anything?
I think at this point that people can, instead of writing into the chat, they can go ahead and unmute and just ask them. And I'm going to mute myself.
So
Yeah, because we have a couple questions about, how you do it with your layers. Is that something you build up as you go, or do you make it first? And
If I told you that, I'd have to kill you.
okay, I totally understand. I absolutely do.
It's kind of weird. It's layers and layers, but you actually start with the top layer and work down. It's kind of hard to explain.
Wow. So that's all in those wonderful classes that you're teaching, right?
That's right, see.
Okay.
Which reminds me of something else, guys. I have put Betty's Etsy into the chat. It is etsy.com/shop/Betty Stephan beadwork. And I've also put her actual website as well into the chat, which is bettystephan.com.
Okay.
You can
And,
see
so I did look it up, and that coupon is good until the 18th.
oh my goodness, I forgot the
the
coupon. Give me the
coupon is already in
again.
there.
Yeah,
It's right
I
up at the
put it
top.
in the chat early.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So it's good until the 18th, but remember, it won't be shipped right away.
So Betty, question about, I thought it was really interesting the way you were working on lace. Was that something you'd seen before or something you just decided to try?
No, I just thought it was, it's kind of cool to use that lace because a little bit of it shows through, so you'll have
Mhm.
gold threads running through it. So it looks like it's super intricate, even though you're not doing all the work. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you have a pattern to follow. I don't know. I just found that it was really fun to work with that.
It turns out really beautiful, obviously.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, but they're a lot of fun to work with. And then a lot of times I'll use ribbon too and do this, do the same thing where you let part of it show through. So it looks a lot more like it was a lot more work than what it actually was.
Betty, I had a question. Of the collars that you've shown us, how heavy do you think your heaviest one would weigh?
Gosh, I have no idea. I never actually weighed them. It probably would have been that Gifts of Nature. It was pretty heavy. But I have to say that when people try them on, they're always surprised that first of all, they aren't heavier than they are. And second of all, that they're quite comfortable because it's almost like a cape or something that you're putting on. It's
Yes.
distributed around. It's not, like just hanging down in the front. So
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
sorry to really give you an answer to that.
Okay.
My question was when you do you always start with just like that component piece, or do you start with the shape or what's your first inspiration for a new piece?
Well, like I said, it's a messy process. Usually there's one component that I want to put in there, and then I kind of like drag things out, like anything that might possibly look good with it, and go from there and just try things. And I think that's the most fun about bead embroidery, is that you can try something, and if you don't like it, you just tear it out and put something else in, and you're not really losing anything. So so again, I admire people that like have a vision and they draw it out and it looks like that when they get done. But whenever I have tried that, first of all, it's not as much fun. And second of all, I don't know, I feel like instead of making myself go in the direction of that drawing, if I just let myself, it kind of forms itself. And it's always kind of a surprise what it's going to look like. And I find that a lot more fun than trying to make me do it so it looks like what I've drawn out, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, free form, bead embroidery, and it's way more, less restrictive.
Yes, organic.
Yes.
I do not see the coupon. Can you repost it, please?
It's right at the
Yeah,
top of the
very
chat.
top.
At the top of the chat, I have Doris.
Actually,
It says, here's Betsy at Betty's Etsy shop. Here's the coupon, and I will repost it.
Thank you.
actually, you can just type this in. I put Upper Midwest Bead Society, so UMBS, thanks, THANKS, and 25 for the year. So it's pretty easy to remember. Oh, there it is.
Yep, did it again. And because we want everybody to find you. My gosh, this is so amazing. And so you're teaching classes soon, or what's your new upcoming?
The next one is in April at the bead retreat in Maine.
So do you Zoom your classes?
I haven't done Zoom a lot. I'm not real crazy about Zoom. There's something about when you're teaching live that there's some energy in the room
Yeah.
that, is hard to capture when you Zoom. Again, I feel like there really is a place for Zoom, and I'm glad that we can do it because it gives you opportunities to take classes with people you would not normally take it with. So I do Zoom occasionally. I don't have any scheduled right now, though.
That's so cool. I just when you're making, like, sitting there making all those components, how many of those components then do you actually use in the piece? Like, how many get discarded into something else, and how many is your usual? Like, you never throw anything away, obviously. It gets used somewhere, right?
You can tell from looking in the background here. Yeah, I would say, I don't know, I'm gonna say an average, I probably use 75% in the piece. And then the rest, like I said, I make something else from it. So there, you usually can use it for different things. Sometimes, like the things that I'm experimenting on aren't any good, they really should be thrown out. So I do get rid of some of them.
I don't know. I think your impression of what's good or not good might be different than several others.
No.
I'm intrigued in how large your bead containers are compared to what I have.
You're not even looking at the most part of it. This other wall, these are actually the ones I
Oh
use.
my goodness.
Bead containers, because I buy them by the kilo. Okay, but Rochelle said you would want to see the other ones, so let me show you.
We
Because you're only
do.
looking at one wall, right? And this is a mess because I didn't think that I was going to show everybody this, but I'll try it.
Look at that. Isn't that just
Wow. It's your own bead store.
Yes. Scary, right?
no, we all dream of spaces like that.
So you
And
can
then
see
tell me,
the
do
bigger
you
ones, right?
do you ever go, oh crap, I don't have that color I need?
Yeah, and it's like usually like a size 11 black bead or something.
Oh,
It
gosh.
totally happens. Oh my God. We have so many people that are gorgeous, love mixing of the techniques. Thanks for sharing. Spectacular. I have lots of new ideas. Awesome. Such beautiful, unique style. Absolutely beautiful. Oh my gosh. And yeah, we are very all amazed at your patience with your Aussie bride. Um, That's definitely a trial and tribulation, that's for sure.
So my bead studio, what you see, is in the basement. So I don't have any windows or anything. And it used to be a root cellar, so it's concrete and a concrete ceiling and everything. So it's very quiet at night. Like anything else could be going on and I wouldn't know it. So it's really nice with that.
I love it. I mean, that's insulation. Armageddon could go on outside and you're just happily
And I can just
beading.
be reading. Exactly.
For decades. We'll just find you decades later with all these new beautiful things.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. And so do you have a favorite? I mean, or could you pick a favorite?
Hmm. Well, it depends on the day, I guess.
I love,
Sometimes I like one more than the other, you know?
uh-huh.
I
And do
don't
you
have,
wear them out as well, just to the grocery store for the fun of it?
yeah, I go to Walmart and get toilet paper and I wear them. No, not. Actually, I never wear necklaces anymore. It's really funny. When I teach a class, I feel like I really need to, but
Mhm,
other than that, I pretty much don't. It's funny, but I love making them. I don't necessarily like wearing them.
mhm.
I don't think I've ever worn any of these really big ones.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
And so maybe you should think about renting some out to some, I mean, because we've all got now things to do, places to go, and
But then I would have to specify you cannot have spaghetti if you wear this.
it's true.
Drink
Oh my
red
God.
wine, right?
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely not.
That's good.
Cure them somehow.
Absolutely. Do you have any advice for people who are wanting to start and make their first collar?
Yeah, don't be I mean, be brave. When you think about it, this is just making a whole bunch of little necklaces, and then I put them together. It isn't like overwhelming. Don't be overwhelmed with it. And with bead embroidery, I don't know why people are scared of bead embroidery sometimes, because it's like the most relaxing thing. You're not going to make a mistake. You know, you can either add more to it or add less and just try different things with it. And also, I think part of the fun is incorporating different things into it. You know, you can use anything and put it into bead embroidery. So, really try different things and make it a little bit unusual, you know? That's the only advice I have. Oh, and don't ever make a collar for a woman in Australia. That's my advice.
It's the one time when having an actual plan that everybody agrees to first is a good
Yeah,
idea.
well, if I were doing it again, I would do that. But honestly, I don't know why I was so dumb. I mean, I was just starting out and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be great, you know? And it
I
was,
don't think
well,
you were dumb. I think you were enthusiastic.
yeah, okay, that's good. I know. You're kind.
No, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I mean, when you said I didn't like this piece and I tore it all apart, I'm like, I think it's beautiful, but I really see what you did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see how
Yeah.
I love fringe and, little picots and fun. So how do you know, yeah, when to stop is,
Yes.
I think, the
And
hard part.
yes. And sometimes, well, you saw how sometimes I added something, but sometimes I took away something. I
Yeah.
mean, so it is adding things are not necessarily the answer all the time. But little things like that really make a big difference.
hmm Well, and each person that tried it on, like you said, it lays differently, if you don't have a chest to prop it up with, it's gonna drape differently and all the little drops and parts and the size of your neck or all that. So it's really hard to fit well. So it's
And
amazing how you do it.
yes, and I have to say that people would come in when I was doing shows and they'll say, "Oh, I'm too big," or "I'm too little to wear that." And I'll tell you that the only thing they needed was confidence to wear it. If they felt confident wearing it, it looked good on them. Whether they were little tiny things or they were a bigger woman, they
Yeah.
just had to feel confident in wearing it and not be afraid to be looked at.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You can't be timid and wear those.
No, you're gonna be noticed for all the right reasons. And that's the great part about wearing one of your art pieces is it definitely gives you that confidence, I think, to stand up straighter and yeah, put your hair up and walk in the room with a smile on your face and everybody's gonna be jealous. Where'd you get it? And so all the links are in here to find more of you. We've got your Facebook page, we've got your Etsy page, we've got your all sorts of different where is your favorite place for people to find you?
I'm really pretty well, I used to be. I haven't been doing it so well. But I have a pretty active Facebook page, so that's a good place.
Super duper. And she's also a new member. So of our Upper Midwest Bead Society. So we'll invite her to our private group as well. And so, please reach out and welcome her as a new member. And don't be shy.
Please send me her information so I can log her in.
Yeah, I was doing that
Thank
right
you.
before the meeting, and so I've got it all information there. Or it will be to you later after the meeting. I ran out of time.
Gotta go, girl. Bye.
And
Bye.
yeah, all kinds of folks have been really saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And this has been so inspiring. Oh my gosh.
Good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was fun. It was nice meeting all you.
And welcome to the group.
Yes, thank you. Shirley. Hey. Hi.
Yeah, you can unmute and chit chat. Feel free, absolutely.
Well, I didn't know all these people were here.
I have gotten so many compliments on that collar that I made from your
Too good.
kit. The
You
one
did
that I can't remember the name of it. The
I think it's Guinevere, wasn't it?
which
I
one?
think
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
I can't wait to see all the collars that everybody starts to make. And
right?
so, you're going to start them at the spring retreat, I bet. And then just all these components I can see laying on the tables. And you'll all come back with beautiful, big estate pieces. So we're excited to see what you make. And so sign up for the spring retreat and get your reservations in now. But join us this Saturday for our in-person meeting at the Edina Senior Center. It'll also be on Zoom and on Facebook. And so then we've got 3 events going on in April. So check out our website. We've got one on Thursday the 3rd, Monday the 7th, and then our Let's Bead Live is after I get back from Japan. So I don't know when it is.
It is the 12th.
Oh, it's while I'm in Japan. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I'm
Yeah,
so
it's while
sorry.
you're in Japan. It's when Jen can do it. Jen is the one who's going to be doing our Monday night regular meeting. And she's going to be talking once again about history, but then she's going to help us make some really, really cute pin cushions
Oh
on
my gosh, I'm
for the
so sorry.
Saturday.
I'm gonna miss that. I'll have to watch it on YouTube. So remember All of our Saturday things that we've been doing are on our public YouTube channel. There's a quick and easy link from the archive page on the website. And then the private meetings like this one are on our private page. So you have to go to the members page and then type in the code. Remember, the code is member. I know it's
Capital
real hard.
M.
But it's okay with a capital M, and that way you'll get the link to the private YouTube channel where all of our Monday night meetings are. And so we're so excited for you to all join us each week or each month for all of our meetings. And so if you have any questions, you want to join our committees, we still have openings for people to want to help do all of our fun things. So please join us, join the fun. The more you get involved, the more fun you're going to have. And so thank you so much. I need to stop recording though, otherwise I'll forget. Thanks.